Maryland gets a quarterfinal home game and the chance to make it an all-ACC affair in East Hartford. The Irish will take on the 3 seed, undefeated Maryland out of the Big Ten. The Terps have rolled their competition this season en route to a 13-0 record. North Carolina, Virginia, and Duke already have punched their tickets to the semifinals. Duke with an overtime win against Loyola earlier today. One spot remains. Will it be a mini ACC tournament, or can Maryland, the former ACC team, crash the party? Anish Roth alongside Quint Kesnick. And Q, what's special about this game? We anticipated this one when the brackets came out 2 Sundays ago. This is a game that is fit for Memorial Day.
Yeah, from day one this season, Maryland has been a team that can win the national championship. Then there's Notre Dame. Yeah, I know they've got a handful of losses. Man, they could have won all those single games. They're stacked from top to bottom, from offense to defense to specialties. So this game could be played on Memorial Day. It's played today, quarterfinals. Nobody remembers the quarterfinal losers. You advance to Connecticut.
We're going to get to see 2 of the most dynamic offensive players in the country. Nobody has been able to slow down Jared Bernhardt.
It's all about speed with Bernhardt. Speed and acceleration. Creating space for himself by running by guys. He's got great hips. The ability to get to a strong right hand in space. Look at how they clear out, set a pick for him, and he just turns the corner, uses the defender as a screen. There's never been a player in Maryland history as productive as Jared Bernhardt as you look at his eye-popping totals. 5th-year senior, flirted with playing college football. He's back as a man on the mission to seal the deal.
6 goals in the round 1 win against Vermont for Bernhardt. And on the flip side, you've got Pat Cavanaugh. He's a Tewaaraton finalist as well, and he's a walking SportsCenter top 10 highlight.
He's unpredictable in terms of his game. I mean, you try to label him, you try to scout him, and he'll pull stuff out like, what is that? Oh, behind the back shot, right-handed. Well, what's this? I'm well covered. I'm going to flip it over my shoulder. And every time he makes a play like this, the Notre Dame bench goes ballistic. They're juice goals. The count has more than 1. Cavanaugh is the catalyst for this very dangerous Notre Dame team.
Cavanaugh, 5.6 points per game. 2 goals in round 1. Tops in the ACC in assists per game this season. Maryland won the championship in 2017. Notre Dame, everyone says, Quint, this could be the year for Kevin Corrigan and the Irish. They have never won a national championship. They're tired of hearing about it. From what we've seen, this team may be the one to do it. This is the Titanic matchup. Maryland, Notre Dame, last spot in the national semifinals on the line.
If you're the Terps, all week you've been hearing, number 3 seed, got to go to South Bend to play on enemy soil. So you know the Terps will bring their lunch pail mentality.
Maryland, the lone unbeaten team in all of Division I. They've been to the national semifinals in 5 of the last 6 full seasons. Notre Dame had a great run at the start of the last decade. Have not been to championship weekend since 2015. Kyle Gallagher and Justin Shockey at the face-off X. Shockey from Maryland was terrific last week against Vermont's Tommy Burke. 19 out of 28. Gallagher, a Penn transfer, has been an X-factor and a major game changer for Notre Dame. Jose Boyer off the wings, and Notre Dame has it first. 51 for the Irish. Pat Cavanaugh. Wheaton Jacobois, one of the heroes in round 1. 3 goals and a closer than expected win against Drexel. Maryland made relatively easy work of Vermont. Now the freshman, Eric Dobson. Quinn McCann. Maryland defensively anchored by Brett Makar and Nick Grill, 43 and 52.
It's Grill.
4.
Yeah, it's Grill who draws the Kavanaugh assignment.
Grill, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Here comes Jacobois against Roman Puglisi. Kavanaugh. And will they say that's a shot or a pass? It is a shot. Griffin Westerly in the backup. And Jacobois picks up where he left off. 3 goals, including the game winner in round 1, and the opening salvo in this final quarterfinal game.
That's just what the doctor ordered if you're a Notre Dame fan. A lengthy possession ends up with a layup from 8 yards. Maryland defense loses Jacobois in the wash. They double the ball carrier. There's no rotation. There's no second slide behind it. Jacobois, Kansas City, Missouri. Great example of the growth of this wonderful sport.
Gallagher wins the faceoff. Bumped into Makar, the Yorktown missile. And here's Maryland the other way. Joshua Kaufman had a goal in transition last week. First time we get to see the Terps on offense, and all eyes on number 1 in white. Bubba Fairman, part of that first midfield with Kyle Long and Anthony DeMeo. Fairman out of Sandy, Utah. Bernhardt still looking for that first touch. Logan Wisnowskis over to Bernhardt. He falls down. Long cranks, didn't get much on it. And the back up to Wisnowskis.
Wow, that is sensational team offense, Anisha. Wing dodge, they kick it to X, they work it up the far side. Great example of Maryland rapid ball movement. This group shares the pill.
DeMeo against Cassidy. DeMeo circles the crease. Left hand free, save Liam Entenmann. 6'3" sophomore from Point Lookout, New York. 16 saves against Maryland last year, a career high 17 in round 1 against Drexel.
I tell you, you want to make an early touch if you're a goalkeeper. And a stick-high save as he celebrates for the fans behind the goal. Whew. That can trigger a hot outing. Good start for Entenmann.
In goal for Maryland, Logan McNaney, the sophomore from his head coach John Tillman's hometown of Corning. He made his first career start last year in a win against Notre Dame. Second midfield now for the Irish. Number 12, Mo Meyer, David Lipka, and Sean Leahy, who's got the Providence transfer. Leahy working against Puglisi, one of the top short sticks. Looking for Westland, who is open on the crease. The ball was tipped, and it'll stay with the Irish.
Good look at Pat Kavanaugh. Sophomore from Chaminade via Taft, where he took a PG year. Hit a growth spurt late in his high school career.
Will York, he's a lefty, tried to shovel that one backhanded. Westland, and a shot clock that expires. Quint, a Maryland team that's 13-0. Outside of last week, they had not faced a team outside of the Big Ten Conference. Nobody has slowed them down offensively, but they have not played a defense like this one.
So today we get the answers. And that's why this game is so fun. ACC looking for the sweep into the semifinals. Maryland saying, not so fast. We've been good all year. We're capable of winning a national title.
Eric Holden, the Hobart transfer. Over to Griffin Brown. A standout at Colgate before coming to College Park. Now Bernhardt Bernhardt working that time on Bergmaster. Number 10 for Notre Dame, Jack Keelty, was the ACC's Defensive Player of the Year. Bernhardt has it up top. That one is wide off the cross of Maltz. Quint, this Notre Dame defense, it's not really about individual matchups.
It's a man-to-man defense with a lot of zone concepts. You'll see double teams coming from the adjacent defender. That is the defender who's next door. And so they end up switching on a lot of matchups. Interchangeable gears in a machine that's been a yearly staple.
Brown scores for Maryland, and we're tied at 1. He led the Raiders in goals the last 4 years, came from Colgate to the Terps, and John Tillman, Maryland's head coach, has said Brown, Molliver, Holden, the second midfield, those guys are going to be key if Maryland makes a big playoff run.
Look at that shot clock, less than a second for the question mark. He'll turn to the outside, plant, jump shot, sting a corner. He knows time's not on his side in Nation, so he takes, his body positioning didn't look like it had great balance or strength, but gosh, he sniped the corner. Referee's review, and that goal should count.
Notre Dame goes with Charlie Leonard on the second face-off, or the third face-off. Gallagher took the first two. Leonard, a former All-ACC face-off man. Makar flying into the air. And here is Makar off the ground. First-team All-Conference defenseman. Relentless motor. Now Bernhardt against Keelty. He gets the step. Bernhardt around the cage. So quick with that first step.
In space, you better take the right angle at Bernhardt because he will dust you.
Now, that was a fun matchup there. Bernhardt, the Big Ten's Offensive Player of the Year. Keelty, the top defender in the ACC. DeMayo now, fifth-year senior from San Diego. To Wisniewskis. That's a sweet spot.
He had Entenmann thinking low with the sidearm release, and the goalie dropped his hands.
Bernhardt and Keelty matched up again, now picked up on the switch by Cassidy. Short stick matchup for Bernhardt. 59 goals this year. The Terps' all-time leading scorer. And he gets topside at will and does it again right there.
When Bernhardt burst onto the scene from Orlando, Florida, he was known as a pass-first midfielder, afraid to shoot. One thing that stands out about him this season, knowing when to grasp and seize the moment. Double team doesn't happen. For whatever reason, Notre Dame doesn't send two from the adjacent. Bernhardt's able to square up and find the far post. Too easy for number one.
Face-off won by the Terps. And here's Notre Dame's ride. York harassing McNaney. Maryland has to get it across midfield before the shot clock hits 60. They do. Bergmaster on Puglisi.
Maryland's getting great looks, Anish.
Yep.
Maryland so far in this game has been able to get their looks.
Holden with a nice split dodge. Molliver now, the freshman from Atlanta. Skip pass, Wisniewskis, one more to Maltz. Save Entenmann! Pythagorean precision by Maryland, and Entenmann with the stop at the end.
Rare air on that feed. I mean, that was a gorgeous pass inside, an alley-oop, so to speak. Entenmann turning on his line. staying flat to the goal mouth. Left side of your screen, almost like a hockey goalie, pipe to pipe. Watch it, he's crouched and ready to rock and roll. Feed is made and he's there.
Kevin Corrigan telling us earlier this year he likes quiet goalies. And when he means quiet, he talks about the movement in goal. Penalty coming against Notre Dame. So Maryland will have an extra man. 36% on the EMO this season, and Maryland will go up 2 men. 6-on-4 coming.
Everybody's a little fired up, huh? Sitting around watching game one. Nothing like getting out there and popping somebody to take the edge off, so to speak. Cross-check was an easy call. That is a dangerous play. Honestly, high hits, cross-checks to the neck, they got to give guys more than a minute for that because that puts people's livelihoods and futures in jeopardy. I got no tolerance for hits like that. The second one, I can't criticize.
DeMayo with a good look, just missed high. Bernhardt the feeder.
Notre Dame has 4 defenders, okay? They're going to rotate from a box to a diamond to a box to a diamond. They're going to try to take away Maltz, 37 in the slot, and force an outside shot from a severe angle.
From up top, an absolute cannon by Griffin Brown, his second.
Undefeated, unblemished, and ready to rock and roll off the plane in South Bend. Maryland's up 3-1. Be the best.
Maryland under John Tillman. That's not John Tillman, that's Bobby Benson, their offensive coordinator. Came over from Johns Hopkins. Late edition when J.L. Reppert took the Holy Cross job. John Tillman on the iPad. That's John Tillman. It's not Candy Crush. Whatever he's got on there for this round, it's worked. 7-1 in the quarterfinals as head coach of the Terps.
Done an amazing job. Challenges this year, obviously, with the pandemic, less opportunity to bond as a team. I think it's tempered his intense side. Using practice as just a place where the young men can get together and spend time together, to put more time on the relationship end of this than actually turning up the heat and cranking it out in terms of grinding to try to get lacrosse wins.
Maryland has won 3 straight face-offs. They came into this tournament as just one of 2 teams under 50% facing off. The other was Rutgers. Bernhardt shoots low. That one hit the pipe. Maltz picks up the rebound. This was a concern for Notre Dame. They gave up more rebound goals than they wanted to last week.
3 rebound goals to Drexel in that round 1 win. Notre Dame's getting no ball pressure right now on the ball. And so Maryland's really dictating the terms here.
How about that move by Bernhardt? Now DeMayo, good look. Boy, Maryland is getting some looks here, Q.
Maryland is dominating in the half-field set. Notre Dame's getting no ball pressure. Maryland's winning some matchups. Guys have their feet set, unencumbered, 8 to 10 yard shots. If this continues, it's just a matter of time. The end result will be inevitable.
It is a 12-3 shot advantage for Maryland. And now some pressure by the Terps. Kavanaugh guarded by Grill. Pat Kavanaugh, 5'3", 125 pounds, going into his junior year of high school. He told us that helped him playing against bigger guys, getting beat up by big brothers. He plays like a little brother, and that is a compliment. O'Meara, his shot was deflected. McNaney the save, the long outlet. Up ahead to Geppert, who was terrific last week with 4 caused turnovers. And another possession here for Maryland. So Notre Dame one and done. Maryland getting these lengthy possessions. Here is Holden. Hobart transfer. Banged up most of the season. Griffin Brown's got 2 goals already. His pass knocked down. And we're going to get a timeout from John Tillman. They had possession. Tillman sensing the chaos and sensing the value of that early possession. Kevin Corrigan in his 33rd season on the Notre Dame sidelines, 313 career wins, a Division I record for wins at one school, and to his credit, he has not changed his headshot. He has the same headshot on Notre Dame's website that he had when he was 29 years old.
That's bold. That is a bold move.
Although, you know, I shouldn't be talking about having outdated headshots, so I'll put that out there. Glass houses.
I got to tell you, I think the whole pandemic has brought out the best in Kevin Corrigan. I sense a leader who is really hitting his peak, hitting his stride this season, developing relationships with his players.
We ran into Ryan Hallenbeck and Will York and Pat Cavanaugh, Ryder Garnsey in the parking lot early this morning, and all of them said the same thing. Garnsey was joking around. He said, I see some things in practice, and I know if I did that, I think Kevin Corrigan would have told me, hey, go and give me laps. But jokingly, he meant that, yeah, you're starting to see a different side of Kevin Corrigan.
He's the architect behind this program. I mean,
yeah.
He took it over basically from a club level, gradual improvement in the late 80s and the early 90s to now being a national power. They've been a quarterfinal staple for a decade. They played for national championships. They've done it the right way as well. I got to tell you that the work their players do academically and in terms of getting great jobs is first class.
Bernhardt against Keelty. Now Fairman. Bubba Fairman checks in. Beats Ryan Moss. And it's 4-1 Maryland.
Watch the change of direction, the rollback. Down the alley, plant, turn, get to your strength. It's all a setup game. When you're a young midfielder out there, you want to end shooting towards the middle of the field with your strong hand. Well done by Fairman, who sets up his right hand.
From Sandy, Utah, where his dad built a field of dreams so they could play lacrosse as kids. Lefty lacrosse on Sunday. Real name Cole, but when you're 13 pounds at birth, you're Bubba for life.
So the defender takes the bait when he pushes left-handed down the alley. Kind of suckers him into that, and then he rolls back for his right.
Riley Gray, 17 and blue. Don't see him that often. He's working on Alex Smith. Cavanaugh against Grill, who's got great feet. Gray missed the cage, raced to the sideline. It'll stay with Notre Dame, 28 to shoot.
Nick Grill selling out, 54 in white. He's got the beard, he's got the fancy mustache. He's also got his degree after graduating, finishing up academically on Tuesday.
Grill took away the inside roll. A turnover. Maryland in transition. Arden Cohn had it, lost his stick. It's a frenzied vortex. And Bernhardt emerges. Bernhardt runs by Keelty. Snakes and stings. 5 unanswered for Maryland. The Terps in full control early.
If you're Notre Dame, this game's already off the rails. You got major defensive issues. Bernhardt's speed, it's his superpower. He's faster and can cut while running full speed. Takes a shot to the back. No call is made. Woo!
Arden Cohn with what looked to be a late hit. Big face-off win for the Irish and Leonard.
If you're Notre Dame, you're in the danger zone right now, and this is feeling a little like Virginia over Georgetown from Saturday.
It does. Everybody got this quarterfinal wrong, huh? Carolina was supposed to blow out Rutgers. Duke was supposed to blow out Loyola. Georgetown had smoked Syracuse, which beat Virginia twice, so Georgetown was going to roll Virginia. How about the defense on Jackaboys by Smith? Now Dobson, McCann, easy save, McNaney.
Everything but the shot location. McNaney's a lefty. He put it right in the breadbasket. Change levels, shoot to net. That was good offense by Notre Dame, though. There's hope on that side of the ball. Where they're struggling right now is on defense. You can't win a matchup on the perimeter. They're getting no ball pressure, and Maryland is slicing and dicing.
Quint, I know Maryland has played almost a Big Ten only schedule. Who has stopped Maryland this year offensively? Nobody.
Themselves.
Kyle Long to Fairman. Final 10 seconds. Fairman working inside. Big shot there by DeMayo, 1.6 seconds. Fairman will try to throw this one toward the crease. Quarter number 1 comes to an end. Turtle power on display in South Bend. The 3 seed, undefeated. Yeah, you got to go on the road in the quarters. So far, no problem. Maryland up 5-1 after 1. Before you want to make championship weekend an all ACC affair, Maryland saying not so fast. The Terps with a 5-1 lead. It was an almost flawless first quarter. Maryland outshot Notre Dame 15-5. 0 turnovers for the Terps. Schraub, Quint Kesnick, quarter number 2 underway in South Bend. Notre Dame the 6th seed, but they are the host, and Bergmaster nearly turned it over. Arden Cohn able to recover, and a chance now for Notre Dame. The second quarter has been where they have flourished this year, outscoring opponents 57-25, and Quint, they put up some crooked numbers in that second quarter.
They're the type of team we've seen this year, and usually spurred on by a juice goal of some sort. Kavanaugh's been the main catalyst, and then they catch fire. Wow,
Dobson.
That might be the ugliest hold call I have ever seen in my life.
Now that was an Amtrak dodge that went off the rails.
This is more like Big Ten wrestling than it is lacrosse. This is a front headlock to a lift. It's 2 points. Wow.
Fouls on 8 white. 1 minute. Unnecessary roughness.
I mean, here's the deal. He realizes he gets him up high, and he's going to hold him, so you may as well just take him down and headlock him. Look at that. That's just splatter.
And you say, where does Notre Dame have an avenue back into this? It's with one of the best man-up units in the country.
Each man on this Notre Dame 6 on this extra man unit, they got their happy places, and they all mesh well. Their happy place, where they operate well.
Will York, number 99, 8 extra man goals. The Irish connect on 55% with the extra man. York likes to camp out near the crease, right on that right wing. Kavanaugh looking for York. There he is on cue.
This game's taking a little nasty tenor with the hits, the penalties. You called it. York just cherry picks on the near post. That's his happy place. Kavanaugh, the right-handed winger, he's very comfortable operating in his spot. You got Dobson up top. So all the parts mix when everybody's in their happy spot. Look at Kavanaugh, no look, through sticks. He and York on the same page. McNaney comes out too late. We spent some time with Will earlier this morning as we were coming into the facility. Tall, legit 6'4", former captain at Bucknell.
He was telling us teams would trash talk him and say, go back to Bucknell. And he would respond, you can do better than that. Go back to the second quarter prowess of Notre Dame. In the 2 games against Syracuse, they scored 10 and 9 in the second quarter. 7 in the second quarter against Virginia. 6 against Marquette, 6 against Robert Morris.
Wow, Dobson just freight trained Puglisi.
Yeah, that's twice. He knows he's got the physical advantage in that matchup. 6'4" freshman from Fleming Island, Florida. Now Grill and Griffin Westland.
This game is heating up. I got to tell you, everything
physical
is confrontational. There's some extra talking going on. It'll be interesting to see how these refs now call it, because they got to rein it in.
Look out! Dangerous pass. Long picks it out of the air. Here comes Maryland. Long, a gifted passer. Fires on goal, and it goes in, and the referee trips in the crease. And now they wave it off in the crease.
Oh, Matty Palem, like he's surfing a wave there, gets his legs cut out.
It is getting physical. Kaufman all over Cassidy, who turns it over.
Got up pretty smooth, though.
I got to tell you, I think the hectic quality of this game favors Notre Dame. Maryland, I just think Maryland's so comfortable in half-field sets that if you just trade possessions with Maryland in 6-on-6 sets, you're probably not going to win. That's how good their offense is and their defense. I think you got to make them uncomfortable somehow. Maybe it's more frenetic pace. Maybe it's imperfect lacrosse.
Long feeding inside to Maltz. It's not there. Arden Cohn. That triumvirate on defense. Cohn, Keelty, Thornton. All 3 could be a number 1 defender for somebody. Cohn and Keelty especially, they've played together in now 48 straight games.
Nice play by Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh out of the ambush, he'll reset.
That's a great example of an attack V-cutting or front swing to help out a defender who's in duress. And I point to the Rutgers-Carolina game yesterday. That happened 3 times where Rutgers' attack is sitting down by the goal instead of front swinging and helping out their clearing teammates.
like in basketball, when they're pressing, come up to get the ball. David Lipka, the Syracuse transfer. 6 goals on the season. Over to Morrison Meyer. His dad, Rick, former quarterback at Notre Dame. Pat Cavanaugh working his way in. Grill's done a nice job on Cavanaugh so far.
Late in the shot clock. Yeah, late in the shot clock.
Down.
Grill's got a nice body type to cover a guy like Cavanaugh. They're both in the 5'8" range. Grill's a fighter, having lost his dad to ALS a number of years ago. His brother's a pro player, BJ. Nick himself drafted by the Whipsnakes in round 4.
He's seen a lot of Notre Dame too. Began his career at Marquette. Those two play every year. Bernhardt flashing the wheels. Behrman's got a goal. Entenmann knocks it down. Loose in front. Sensing a little different energy from Notre Dame in the second quarter.
They're fighting back. Maybe it was that hit on Dobson right in front of their bench. Sometimes that can have the opposite effect, you know, Anish? When you see a teammate roughed up, it gets you eager to fight back. Maryland's offense, they get such great off-ball movement, both the human and ball movement. Notre Dame's is a little more stagnant. It's a little, their patterns are really symmetrical. There's less movement without the ball.
Here is Meyer drawing the slide. Westland over to Jacobois. Now Dobson flashing the hammer. He is left-handed Sergio Perkovic for this Notre Dame team.
That's a gorgeous pattern. I love it. Kevin Torgan, the mastermind of this Notre Dame offense. Their spacing is such that when you double team them, it's easily dissected by the ball carrier.
9:25 to go in this first half. It's Maryland on top, 5-2. NCAA men's lacrosse coverage continues next weekend for the semifinals. The action begins Saturday, May 29th at noon Eastern on ESPN2. For more information on the 2021 Men's Lacrosse Championship, visit ncaa.com. Carolina, Virginia, and Duke have reserved a spot in East Hartford, and the winner of this game will join them. If it's Notre Dame, it's 4 ACC teams. If it's Maryland, you get a former ACC team looking to squash the party. Wheaton Jacobois with his second. Dangerous on that dodge, a shooter on the run. And it's 5-3.
Confidence is perking for Jacobois. Took a shot. Looks to be a little wounded as he's jogging off. He's elevated his game in the postseason, that's for sure. Left-handed to the middle, no fear. Takes a big hit. That's a soft goal for McNaney, a goaltender who's been below 50% 6 games this season. So Entenmann makes 2 point-blank saves. McNaney gives one up from distance. Game on.
Gallagher won the draw, plays it back. And Maryland that time turned to Luke Weirman at the face-off X. Maryland not afraid to mix it up. In 2017, when they won the title, one of the unsung heroes of that tournament run was John Dorino, their third face-off guy.
And while Weirman and Shockey's numbers hover just slightly below 50%, the Big Ten was a great face-off league this year. Rowlett from Michigan, Ignacio from Ohio State, Ruski from Johns Hopkins. It's a strong bunch.
McCann down the alley. And the backup to Notre Dame, Griffin Westland.
This is not.
And there's a man down. It looks like Kaufman.
Yeah, this is not good for Maryland. They're a little short in this position group as it is with Jake Higgins, their defensive midfielder, number 57, out for the year, the senior from Cleveland State. So Kaufman, Puglisi, and Alex Smith are their primary defensive midfielders.
And Kaufman has been a transition threat. 4 goals this year. A goal and an assist in round 1.
Kaufman trailing the play. Eesh. Hits his teammate. Buckles his neck.
Fresh 80, defensive player, reset the clock.
Good to see him running off.
Okay, the lacrosse athlete, similar to the hockey athlete, and a little football as well. You've got to be able to survive those collisions. That's why you do your weight training, your flexibility work. If the biggest and baddest guy on the other team freight trains you, Anish, you got to be able to get up on your feet, buckle it back up, and compete. So you train for safety, for self-preservation.
Jacoboys, 2 goals already. Geppert got him from behind. And Maryland has it. Matt Rail closest to the ball.
Notre Dame in years past has had a 10-man ride, a full-court press. We haven't seen much of it this season.
Ball dislodged. Bergmaster the check. It's clean. And a turnover.
That's beautiful if you're a Notre Dame fan. You ambush the ball carrier. You gave him some pressure. You make Maryland's life difficult. Nobody in the Big Ten this year rode. I mean, it was a conference devoid of riding. No, other than Ohio State late in the year. A couple 10-mans. It was just not a league where clearing and riding were contested.
Bergmaster with a hockey background. Had a couple of brothers who played at Albany. Kavanaugh picked up by Rahill. Feeding Leahy, and Notre Dame within 1. Second quarter, Quint. The Irish wake the echoes.
The little plays make the big difference. Boom. Turnover created. Opportunity. 3 in a row for Rudy. Be the best with the timeout.
Kevin Corrigan, Notre Dame's longtime head coach, talked to us this week about egoless clarity. Great article in USA Lacrosse Magazine, which gets into one of the core philosophies at Notre Dame, going from good to great. That's the name of the book by Jim Collins, where Corrigan gets that phrase from. And Corrigan telling us it's a blueprint for an organization. The concept is, if you can't do it for more than 1 year, it doesn't count. You have to do it for a long time. It's knowing your roles, knowing what your shortcomings are. It doesn't mean you can't strive to overcome those shortcomings, but accepting that maybe somebody else can do what you can't do, and then molding that into a team concept so all the parts come together.
Role definition is critical. And then wanting more, wanting to improve. So isolating, when you step on a college campus or you're trying out for a youth team, like, what do I do well? I've got to play to my strengths. Okay, if I'm a shooter, I got to position myself so I can take some shots. If I'm a speed guy, dodger, I've got to play to those strengths. And specifically know your strengths and play to them, all the while you're working on your weaknesses behind closed doors to improve those other aspects of your game. and then using those to buy in as you look at our game summary, which has really seen two distinct games. The first game in the first quarter, Maryland won 5-1. The second game in the second quarter, Notre Dame scored 3 straight.
Only 3 turnovers for Maryland to Notre Dame's 7. It's a 5-4 game. The Irish have now outscored teams 60-25 in the second quarter this season. Weirman and Leonard back at it. And Notre Dame has won 5 straight faceoffs. Make it 6 now. And this Maryland offense that was so in sync and in rhythm and had the ball for the majority of that first quarter, they haven't seen it much in this second quarter.
Possession is earned in lacrosse. It's that rare sport where you're not guaranteed to ever get the ball. You got to earn it.
Leahy had the last Notre Dame goal, the Providence transfer. Leahy turns, fires, and ties it at 5. Notre Dame won the transfer market in the offseason, importing York and Gallagher and Kyle Thornton on defense. Leahy a part of that haul.
5 or 6 impact players. Rollback City. Yo-yos back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Maryland thought about doubling, but they stay home. McNaney can't match up. Back-to-back goals by Leahy.
Two goals today. Leahy had 3 all season entering the game. And it'll be withholding against Maryland. So this is what Notre Dame can do to you at the face-off X. They score a goal, it's either Gallagher or Leonard, and then they put the pressure right back on a defense.
Another magical second quarter.
4 unanswered, Jacobois. Over to McCann. Griffin Westerlin now. He's second on the team in assists. Dobson, that big left hand.
McNaney got a piece. Dobson took a hit afterwards. It appeared to be clean. This should be a reset. It is. That was a good stop by McNaney.
Shot clock back at 80. Kaufman back in there for Maryland, a good sign, 28. Westland from X, circles around, bounce shot and a score. 5 unanswered, and Notre Dame has roared back to take the lead.
Down 5-1. But playing at home, in front of their crowd, in front of their parents and friends. They've caught fire in the second quarter behind face-off domination. Westland beats his man and takes the extra step to greatness, increasing his angle.
If Notre Dame scores one more goal in this quarter, it'll be the 6th time this season they've scored at least 6 in the second quarter. What's the counter punch now from Maryland?
Well, just getting the ball. There's been no time in this game where you're watching saying Notre Dame's going to stop Maryland on this possession. The Terps have bossed their way into some high percentage shots.
DeMeo from the wing.
I mean, they just continually getting looks. Entenmann made 2 point-blank saves, I think, to stop the bleeding. But this Maryland offense, you're pretty confident. Hey, if we get the ball, we're going to score.
Bernhardt running by Keelty again. Shoots low and scores. Jared Bernhardt just ran by the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. That straight line speed is something else.
He's in a different galaxy in terms of his athletic ability. Flirted with playing college football at Ferris State as an option quarterback. He may do that down the road. To be able to cut at full speed like that, man, he has put it all together this season.
There was no hesitation from Kevin Corrigan. He said Bernhardt is the best player in the country. He's the best player we'll see this year. 3 goals in the first half, 9 in this NCAA tournament so far. 62 on the season. That leads everybody in Division I. And Q, it's not like he's a volume shooter.
No, it's not like he's a hog or a volume shooter. I mean, he's been picking his spots all season. He's making the right lacrosse play every single time.
He's connected on 64% of his shots in this tournament. Better than 50% on the season. Big save by McNaney. Grill can't pick it up, and Notre Dame gets it back. Kavanaugh evading Makar.
Good stop by McNaney.
It's been a game of runs. A 5-1 run by Maryland to start. A 5-1 run by Notre Dame since. Flag is down as Lipka hit the deck.
Penalties will sting in this game because both teams' extra mans are superb.
Push 30 seconds, white 39, push 30. For the dot.
Go back to the goal that started this spurt for Notre Dame. It was on the extra man.
Dobson up top, lefty flamethrower. Kavanaugh, right-handed passer. York, the lefty finisher. Just a great unit.
The best man-up unit in this tournament. York trying to get open on the crease. Kavanaugh said, I've got a 6'4" target. He's easy to find. I look for him often. Big save, McNaney off the cross of Kavanaugh.
Penalties released.
Nice pick by Kaufman on a bounce.
Important possession for Maryland now with a high score. They've been playing way too much defense in this quarter. They need to settle down, give their D a rest, get a high-quality shot.
Fairman against McCann, who Corrigan considers a two-way midi. Help coming. Well-timed slide by Keelty. Fairman still got the shot off, and Bernhardt's got the backup now. Keelty out to meet him. He has not been able to handle the speed of Bernhardt. There it is again. Bernhardt gets topside. He's making it look too easy. He's not fair right now, Quint. He's not fair.
He's that button. he's that extra. I talked about the speed, and he's able to create separation in 3 steps. Mike Loxley, Maryland football coach, you got to give this kid a shot. He's by far the best athlete in college lacrosse that I've seen in the last decade. I mean, he's running circles around people, really good people too.
Keelty was the best defender in the ACC. 4 goals in the first half for Bernhardt. 10 in this tournament. He's got to be considered the lead dog in the Tewaaraton race. That's the highest individual honor in the sport. A timeout 1:50 to go. Notre Dame has found its offense. They have not found an answer for Jared Bernhardt.
Senior from Orlando, Florida. A high school option quarterback. First onto the scene was a freshman when Maryland won the NCAA title. Two older brothers were Terps as well. Jake and Jesse now are both coaches. Jake at Vermont, Jesse right here at Maryland. Lost his dad, Jim, in the summer of 2019. Jim was a long-time college and pro football coach, really well respected in both football and lacrosse circles. The 2020 season being shortened, I think was a benefit for Jared. I think he's found a certain clarity this season, both athletically and spiritually.
Quint, you know the proud history of lacrosse in College Park, and a school that's produced Frank Urso and Joe Walters and Matt Rambo. If Maryland runs the table the rest of the year, you can make the case Bernhardt's the best of the bunch.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's, obviously Maryland's program, one of the original Big Five. Back in the day, talking, 40s, 50s, 60s, it was Maryland, Hopkins, Army, Navy, and Virginia, decided the championship every year. So this is a program with legends. But Bernhardt separated himself from the pack this season in my eyes.
Up to 63 goals on the season. This is Maryland's 14th game. Came into the game averaging 4.5 goals per game. More than 6 points per game. He's got 4 of Maryland's 7. Terps by 1. Notre Dame looking for the equalizer. It's Jacobois. Back-to-back hat tricks for Wheaton Jacobois. And we're tied at 7.
Out of a timeout. This is coaching brilliance. Give and go. Give, little V-cut, back to Jacobois, and in. That's about as old school as it gets, Anish. The old wing pass, give and go.
After 15 minutes, this looked like it was going the way of Virginia Georgetown. As advertised, with 1:39 to go in this first half. Weirman and Leonard in a battle. Leonard wins it, flips it back. Jose Boyer flips it ahead. Grill's got it. And Maryland sets up the clear. Four ties, a couple of lead changes. We come up on a minute to play in this first half. Kyle Long had a hat trick last week. Known more for his passing ability out of the midfield. 23 in white.
He's a spark. 23 in white is a total spark for this team.
Behrman. Why not just give it to Bernhardt and say, go run by somebody?
If I'm Keelty, 10 and blue, I'm making it hard for that to happen. I'm extending on the perimeter to deny his touches.
Flag is down. And now Maryland can milk this clock a little bit. Here's Bernhardt. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Won't matter. Penalty coming against Notre Dame. So 9.7 seconds, and now if Maryland finishes the half with possession, they'll begin the third quarter with the ball, no face-off, and an extra man.
1 minute flat. 31, 1 minute flat.
Tell you, after some good call by the officials, just a lift check, almost dislodges the helmet. Terps led 5-1. You really had the feeling that this thing could be off the tracks for Notre Dame. I got to give them credit. If you're a player right now or a fan, I think you're making a deal. You're going to stick this one out to 60 or 60 plus. This one's going the distance.
What time's your flight?
You know, there's no talking about the escape prior to the escaping.
Maryland tied at the half for just the second time this season. Tied at 7. One more spot remains open for championship weekend. North Carolina's there. Virginia's there. Duke got there earlier today with an overtime win against Loyola. Maryland and Notre Dame trading haymakers in that first half. Tied up at 7. Jared Bernhardt continues to be a human cheat code. 4 goals. Yeah, it's been physical. They've talked a little smack too. Shaping up for a good finish in this final quarterfinal tilt. Westland from X, circles around, bounce shot to score, 5 unanswered, and Notre Dame has roared back to take the lead. From up top, an absolute cannon by Griffin Brown, his second. Terps by 1, Notre Dame looking for the equalizer. It's Jacobois. Ready for the start of the second half. No face-off. Maryland ended the first half with possession and an extra man advantage. So 51 seconds on the man up for Maryland and a chance to take the lead. Tied at 7. Jared Bernhardt, 4 of the 7 Maryland goals. Bernhardt will shoot. He's got 5, and he continues to be unstoppable.
You'll see Jared do a double take here. He'll catch the ball, think he's going to be covered by Hallenbeck, 24 in blue. He's not, so he just steps in, say, you're going to give me this 10-yard shot, pump, step in, 5-hole.
He has scored the last 4 for Maryland. And there is now an inevitability to Maryland's offense. If the Terps get the ball, you just get the sense Bernhardt is going to score, and Notre Dame's going to have to tilt the possession advantage in their favor heavily.
Okay, 2 things that we're seeing. Maryland's not winning faceoffs right now. That's going to be a big issue going forward. They've got to be cleaner in their clearing game. Terps can't afford too many turnovers because they're losing the possession battle at the faceoff X. Conversely, Notre Dame, what's the answer to Bernhardt? What'd you talk about at halftime? How are you going to stop this guy in settled sets? You're going to shut him off? You're going to double team him early? You got to have something up your sleeve.
Dobson with the right hand. Fleming Island, Florida take a bow. Now we knew he was a lefty, and we knew that left hand was a bazooka.
Just scratching the surface. Downhill against the midfield defender, creates separation. He's running down the hash mark, so to speak. Overhand, rips it, overpowers McNaney down low. That's gorgeous. He demands a double team there, Maryland.
He is a volume shooter. And Kevin Gorgan said he takes very few bad shots. Here's Westland. His shot deflected. Gorgan wants from Dobson is to take the good shots a little better.
Yeah, defining shot selection for freshman midfielders can be tricky. They got away with it a lot in high school. Bad shots scored in high school. But Dobson's issue is not that he takes bad shots, it's his technique. And that last one on the run, 3/4 arm was perfection, was beautiful.
McCann maneuvers around Kaufman. Now Kavanaugh. Dobson again. Makes his way through a couple of defenders, fires and scores. And a little flex at the end by the freshman.
He's a freshman?
Allegedly.
Watch him deal with the double, the body. Dragging, Terps. Too strong. Do the work, that's the reward.
He's been a pleasant surprise. Kevin Corrigan told us earlier in the year, a Florida kid who came to South Bend more complete than what Notre Dame thought they were getting.
That narrative's changing. Dylan Hess,
Yeah,
Georgetown,
you're right.
Carter Parlett.
There's Leonard now, all the way. Backhanded shovel, and York has the backup. To your point, Clint, you said face-offs. Notre Dame's dominating the X here. And their best defense against Jared Bernhardt right now is to keep the ball away from Jared Bernhardt.
Got to be concerned if you're John Tillman, because you're in the face-off game. You're not even able to make it a 3-on-3 scrap at this stage, Nish. Leonard and Gallagher are winning so quickly that the wings can't get in to make it a 3-on-3 ground ball. You're asking your draw man to tie him up. Give me 2.5 seconds. 1,001, 1,002, then the wings can have an impact.
Leonard is 7 out of 9. Gallagher 8 out of 10. Meyer had a couple of goals in round 1. Leahy's got 2 today. The 6'4" York. Leahy picked up by Geppert. Save. Now that shot was blocked. Big scrap on the ground. Grill scoops. Swift move there by McNaney to elude the pursuit.
That was ridiculous.
Pocket presence.
Grill, vacuum cleaner, and McNaney pocket presence. That's right. He got the rush from the D end. He ducked it, and then they got him with the bull rush, and he sidestepped it. Ball movement is Maryland's offensive signature.
Now they give it to Bernhardt. He scored the last 4 Maryland goals. He's got a short stick matchup. He has gotten topside at will this year. Wisnowski's doubled. Skip past alone, Entenmann the denial. If you're wondering, no relation to Entenmann's, what you eat after school.
Chocolate chip cookies and donuts.
I like the crumb cake. The crumb cake was my favorite.
Fans came to their feet with that stop. It's a good one by Entenmann. Tall and lanky, really calm, light on his feet. Now he kind of floats. Bright future. He's only a sophomore.
They've had a great tradition of goalies. Here's Dobson. This time, the freshman goes down. Transition opportunity for Maryland. Makar plays it to Bernhardt. Over to Kaufman. Step down. Wide.
That's one you want back. And if you're on the Notre Dame bench, you got to talk to Dobson. He went rogue on that last possession. That wasn't exactly a high percentage dodge.
That was a heat check, right?
Wow, I mean, you're feeling confidence, feeling no pain.
Oliver now, the freshman from Atlanta. Bounce shot, Entenmann there to gobble it.
Effective clearing, so important for Notre Dame. Lost 2 games this year because of fourth quarter clearing woes. When they get a little tired, they got raggy and sloppy in their clearing. That can't happen today.
Lipka takes Smith behind the cage. Intercepted by Grill. And McNaney picks it out of the crease. Errant pass for Grill. This is a big clear. Long shovels it ahead to Alex Smith. Charging into the box. Bernhardt from the wing. One more to the doorstep. And Maryland will settle. Bernhardt streaking to the cage. Dives. They'll wave it off.
Couldn't tell if it was just a flat-out crease violation or a goal mouth violation.
You're allowed to dive and to land in the crease, but not in the goal mouth as long as the ball, that one hits the pipe, as long as the ball goes in before you land. But if you land in the goal mouth, even if you were pushed, no goal.
Left side of your screen. Looks like that toe on the crease. Plus
He's in the goal mouth.
Plus his legs are in the goal mouth.
Notre Dame has not led by more than 1. Maryland led 5-1 in the first quarter. Kavanaugh's got a couple of assists.
It's a nice grounder by Kavanaugh there. Dobson's getting a little sloppy on the last 2 possessions. A veteran player needs to get his attention and say, hey, settle down, big guy, settle down. Everything's fine.
The winner gets Duke next weekend in one of the 2 semis. Kavanaugh for Westland. A sea of white. Sure, leading the break for Maryland. 11 turnovers for Notre Dame. Kaufman. Wisnauskas his sweet spot, and Entenmann gets down low.
Gosh, maybe the best save he's made all day.
Yeah, those sweatpants don't come all the way down. Might have hit his shin.
Those are knickers. Those aren't sweats.
DeMayo against Cassidy. Bernhardt the pick man. He gets it back. Look out. 5 goals for Bernhardt. Looking for another. He had 6 against Vermont. Fairman shot. Entenmann, a stone wall right now. Saves for the sophomore. Since John Tillman took over at Maryland, the Terps have the most NCAA tournament wins, the most semifinal appearances, and the most All-Americans. They have the championship in 2017. But they have been the most consistent winner in the last 10 years. Lipka off the feed from Westland. And Notre Dame has its first 2-goal lead of the game.
Cutting is about timing. It's about thinking ahead. Lipka's on the fly as Westland gets it, so when he catches it, he's got an angle.
Quint, you played the position. Describe Liam Entenmann's performance today.
He's watching the ball, eyes wide open with focus, seeing it, being the ball, moving to the ball, always ready, and then hitting the reset button and starting from scratch. It's a one-shot game. The next one matters.
So Notre Dame, because they are the 6th seed, is technically guest. And where you see Notre Dame,
yeah,
that's Maryland, the home team, even though they're playing in South Bend. And certainly the Terps contingent, the fans, and I'm sure some of the players weren't too thrilled that, hey, Big Ten champions, undefeated, and your reward is going to South Bend for the quarters?
There's a lot of layers to the story. There's a pandemic. There's a regional that was originally scheduled to be played in the stadium behind us. There's a graduation that moves it into Arlotta. There was non-conference.
Kavanaugh denied.
The lack of non-conference play for the Big Ten. A lot of factors, Anish.
If Maryland comes back and wins, the top 4 seeds would all get the championship weekend. Carolina the 1, Virginia the 4, Duke the 2, already there.
And this is a test. John Tillman didn't. I don't think he was real comfortable talking about it, Anish, but this is a significant test. 3 seed undefeated, having to deal with this. He took the high road.
He always does. Wisnauskas, crafty shot. Now you think about the path to a championship for either of these teams. Duke in the semis, then either Carolina or Virginia, Memorial Day. Logan Wisnauskas, the soft-spoken fifth-year senior. They call him Groot. He carries a big stick, makes it 10-9.
Senior from boys Latin, the source for all archaic ties. Lefty puts that to the offside hip. This kid's super productive. He was a great high school quarterback, a lefty. Former Terp alum Brian Farrell leading the Lakers to the MIA championship on Friday night in Annapolis in front of 7,000. Congratulations to that ex-Terp.
Gallagher, Tornadoes out of trouble. A 17-4 advantage on faceoffs for Notre Dame.
Irish really seem content to make this a midfield-oriented offense. Mo Meyer, 12 and blue, has been a little quiet. He's been drawing the long pole all game.
Schur's on him. Now Dobson's got the shorty on the switch. Almost a warding off. Dobson and Smith collide. Smith bore the brunt of it. Dobson lost it, trying to do too much. It comes back to Dobson, absorbs a check, plays it back, new 80 for Notre Dame, and Dobson lost his stick.
Dobson is getting wrecked on all of these possessions. How about Smith on defense? Man, he's like a D-end or a linebacker. So, some midfield defenders are like corners. He wants to hit you with that two-handed wrap check.
He's got Ray Lewis and Ed Reed on speed dial. His dad, DeMore Smith, the head of the NFLPA. Bounce shot by Meyer, didn't have much on it. McNaney the save. And out of the cage to scoop up the grounder.
Nicely done by McNaney. He's played really well here in the second half with stops and the ability to clear the ball. Coming out, making the correct turn away from traffic. Gorgeous play. Who's got gas in the tank today? You think about all the conditioning these young athletes do.
Brown to the cage. And he stepped in.
He's on the road to nowhere with that dodge.
Ended up in Elkhart.
There's no happy ending when he puts his head down and runs into 3 Notre Dame Fighting Irish defenders. Think about yesterday, North Carolina. Good depth of scoring. 8 different non-starters scored. Hot weather, pressurized games. You need that depth of contribution.
Kavanaugh. And a sneer of cold command by St. Patrick. When he scores, it's a juice goal for the Irish.
Rockville Center, Long Island, played at Chaminade, then Taft. Broke his thumb in the fall. Couldn't play lacrosse, couldn't do much upper body work. He told us he went to the weight room every other day, strengthened his legs. He says it's made a huge difference in his game, just doing leg work during the fall.
2014 Q, his older brother and Notre Dame legend Matt Kavanaugh. 5 goals, 2 assists against Maryland in a semifinal win.
Big family. Sister Colleen's here after driving from Lake Tahoe. Kevin, Matt, Brendan, Chris, and Colleen. Parents Kevin and Mary. Kid's a scrapper. He's been a worker. Was he 5'3", 120 pounds as a high school sophomore? He's hit that growth spurt.
He told us he didn't start growing until the summer before his senior year. Being the smallest guy, he said, made him tougher. Had to outwork everybody. Missed the fall with a broken thumb. He and Will York were rehabbing. That's how they got to know each other. Bernhardt over to DeMeo. Wisnauskas, he's a lefty to the right hand. Body saved by Entenmann, who snares the rebound.
That's got to be an interference call against Notre Dame. After the save, the Notre Dame defender trucks Wisnauskas. This was a beautiful body save by Entenmann, though. He's really handcuffed from this distance. Wisnauskas is what? I don't know, 8 yards? Right on top of him. Entenmann controls his rebound, but the defense is, they're taking names. They're not flinching inside. No rebound goals this week after giving up 3 to the Dragons a week ago.
Bernhardt gets trucked on the pick by Hallenbeck. No flag. Now Bernhardt with the short stick matchup.
Send help now.
Over to Fairman. Played by Thornton. Fairman. Bouncer off the mark. 11 seconds.
Yeah, as you get tired defensively, you tend to back in. You got to still pick up guys at 15 or 18 yards on the perimeter.
Long over to Bernhardt. Turns the corner. Entenmann is there. Liam Entenmann gives his adoring fans a look. 6 saves in that third quarter. Goalie play has been a huge theme throughout this NCAA tournament, and Liam Entenmann played his best ball in that third quarter. One quarter left in regulation. Who goes to championship weekend? Will it be Maryland? They're down 2. Or will Notre Dame make it an all-ACC affair at Rensselaer Field next weekend? Duke, Carolina, and Virginia all in the semifinals. This game, a tale of 2 quarters early. Maryland jumped out to a 5-1 lead. Notre Dame answered back 7-7 at the half. The Irish take a 2-goal lead into the fourth quarter. Face-offs have been a huge advantage for Notre Dame since that opening quarter. Danger here. McNaney out of the cage. Notre Dame's got it. Boyer was calling for it, and York will run it back. Boyer may have had a shot on goal with nobody in there if York saw him. Winner of this game gets Duke in one of two semifinal games next weekend. North Carolina and Virginia in the other. Jacoboyce, a first half hat trick. Westlin has made a couple of nice passes. Here's Kavanaugh. Westlin against the shorty. Bodies up Smith. Dobson with 20. They'll come at Puglisi. Those two have battled all day. It's been physical. Puglisi jars it loose. Rahill has it for Maryland. Over to Bernhardt. 5 goals for Wisnauskas. Shot blocked. Arden Cohn there for Notre Dame.
Transition defense for Notre Dame. Up to the test. Don't like that turnover high in their offensive zone, which led to the Maryland runout. This game now, you see Notre Dame players gassed coming off the field. Jacoboyce, Dobson, McCann.
Leahy shot saved. It's loose in front, behind the back. Kavanaugh. York the backup, new 80. If you want to watch LSU and Louisiana softball, that will start on the app. A regional round NCAA softball tournament. Path to the Women's College World Series. Bouncer by Meyer.
Meyer's had a nice year. Senior from San Diego. He's finally found some consistency in his game. Mo Meyer, dangerous threat on the midfield. Does his best work scoring unassisted goals.
Right on the doorstep, Will York. And Notre Dame with its largest lead of the game.
Team offense. A double team drawn, they kick it to X, and then you look inside. Double team, kick to X, defense is vulnerable on the backside. Team O, passing the rock, making that extra look. York with some terrific hands to finish that off. Kid's about 6'4", with the long arms, helps.
Shockey and Leonard, it's Boyer there. The long pole off the wing. Another Yorktown product. Paul Carcaterra loves it. Quinn McCann down the alley. From down 4 in the first quarter to up 3 in the fourth.
Westlin comes off with cramps. Notre Dame's running out of gas.
I gotta kill it. He's in the substitution box.
Westland comes off, falls down in the box right in front of us, and his calves are cramping. This Notre Dame team, yeah, I know they've got a 3-goal lead. They're running out of juice. I've seen players walking off instead of jogging. Westland is cramping. This is a team who's given up some fourth-quarter leads this season, and this bears watching now.
They struggled to clear in the fourth quarter in a loss to Duke. McCann, good look that time. It'll stay with Notre Dame and Kavanaugh, 8 to shoot. Kavanaugh looking for Jackaboys, and this is going to be Maryland ball. Shot clock violation. Quick restart. Here's Kaufman. I got Jackaboys and McCann on defense. Jackaboys will run off with Kaufman. No, Kaufman will stay on. And now he'll run off with McCann. So Notre Dame gets its defensive personnel on there. I guess McCann will stay on to play a little D-Mitty. No Tommy McNamara today, part of the defensive midfield. He's also the bagpiper. Skip pass to Wisnauskas. Bouncer! 12-10.
Having options as a shooter is so critical. And then reading the goalie. Wisnauskas has thrown some high, he's thrown some low, but he hasn't showcased this high bounce shot. See how it impacts the goalie's posture. Entenmann goes down, ball bounces top of the crease into the upper portion. Well set up by Wisnauskas.
Weirman out to take the face-off against Gallagher. It's Geppert off the wings.
Still a ton of time, Anish. Maryland looks like the fresher team.
Long burst of speed. 12-11 Maryland within one.
Substitution box to glory. Fresh legs.
Big face-off win by Gallagher. Trail check, jars it loose. Maykar's got it. The Terps can tie with a goal here. In transition, this is Weirman, the Fogo, to the doorstep. Maltz! We're even at 12! 3 straight in an eye blink.
Ground ball moved on. Weirman looks off the defense. Deception with his eyes and his body posture impacts the low defender, and he delivers a strike to Maltz. Well done by the Fogo.
Notre Dame had taken its first 3-goal lead of the game, and Maryland responds with 3 in 46 seconds. Face-off violation on the Terps. You're right, Quint. Notre Dame looks gassed. But 12's not going to win it.
9 minutes is an eternity.
Yep. It's been an issue this season, the fourth quarter for Notre Dame. closing out some of these games. A semifinal berth in the balance. Lipka looking for Kavanaugh, sloppy. Fairman's got it. He can go from defense to offense. 17 turnovers now for Notre Dame. Momentum on Maryland's side. 3 assists today for DeMeo.
That's a problem for Notre Dame.
Long. Irish ball.
Good trail check. Irish have to find a second wind. Got a bunch of players on the bench getting treated for cramps. Westland's back out there. Midfield guys jogging off, really walking off.
Here's Kyle Thornton, the Penn transfer. Oh, that would have sent this place rocking. Jackaboy shoveled, turned away by McNaney. McNaney springs out of the cage. He's got it. Another chance for Maryland to take the lead. Kaufman the other way.
Maryland's outstanding in the transitional moments of a lacrosse game. Like that last play. McNaney, decisive, bursts out of the goal. Midfielders simultaneously breaking up field. They know he's going to get it.
Kevin Corrigan said, Maryland is so fluid when they transition from defense to offense, from their clear to their settled. Oliver against Hallenbeck. Dumps it off to Maltz. Wisnowskis stings the corner. Maryland on top. 3 in the 4th for Logan Wisnowskis.
McNaney played strong down the stretch, gets a piece, makes a decision. Decisive. Get out there, you're the extra player. At the other end, Wisnowskis and the Terps by 1.
It'll be Maryland or Notre Dame to claim the last spot for championship weekend. Winner faces Duke next week. It'll either be an all ACC affair or it'll be a blast from the ACC's past and 3 other ACC teams. Maryland out of the Big Ten, undefeated, the 3 seed, having to go on the road here in the quarters in South Bend. They trailed by 3 in this 4th quarter, and Quint, they've responded with 4 straight goals.
Wisnowskis, Long, Maltz, and Wisnowskis. 4 goals in 3:15 on a hot Sunday afternoon. 80 plus this artificial surface. Looks like Notre Dame's kind of hitting a wall physically. See if they can find a second win somehow.
Maryland started fast. They're finishing strong. 6.5 and a little more to go. And the Terps have won 3 out of 5 faceoffs now in the 4th. If you've got tired legs, seeing number 1 with the ball's got to scare you.
Fatigue impacts everything you do on a lacrosse field. Your ability to cover in space, your ability to communicate clearly, rationally, your ability to create separation, to scrap for ground balls. And this is a running game. It's always been a running game.
First lead for Maryland since it was 8-7 early in the 3rd. Wisnowskis, 3 goals in the 4th. DeMeo has facilitated. Kyle Long plays it inside. Nice play by Hallenbeck to prevent the goal. He lost it. Loose ball foul.
He covered it up.
Withholding. Maryland ball. New shot clock and fourth quarter clearing, Quint. Bubba Fairman. Antiman with a big save.
And just look at that breakout, Anish. There's no spark in that breakout.
No. Five minutes to go in regulation. Already 2 overtime games in these quarterfinals. North Carolina and Duke both winning in OT. Virginia won handily against Georgetown. Jacobois. Dobson thought about it. Plays it to Jacobois. Tied at 13. That's 4 now, and 7 in this tournament for the senior from Kansas City.
Team offense. The ball's doing the talking. Jacobois has been on fire in this tournament, the veteran from Kansas City, but Dobson makes the one more pass. I'm sure he was tempted to shoot. And early in the year, maybe he takes that outside shot. But you go to those film sessions and you show him, hey, you got a guy open down below. Make that extra pass. Tic-tac-toe.
7 ties in this game. Gallagher falls down. Kaufman is there for Maryland. Has it knocked away. Gallagher had it momentarily. Big ground ball to Boyer and to the Irish. Here comes Notre Dame. York.
Nice wheels by Boyer there. It's a big play. These fans know it.
Boyer, a record-setting high school quarterback. Big-time track and field athlete as well in high school.
I think he's the first Cornhusker to attend Notre Dame.
Meyer on the doorstep. McNaney there. That was a great look by Mo Meyer. 9 saves for Logan McNaney. What a quarterfinal round we've had. Tied at 13, 3 minutes to go. A prelude for championship weekend. 4 super teams will be there, regardless of today's winner. Bernhardt's got the shorty McCann. Bernhardt. To Maltz, denied. And Thornton, the Penn transfer with the ground ball. Green shoes and all across the midfield line for Notre Dame. 2.5 to go in regulation. 16 saves for Liam Entenmann. Both teams with their full complement of timeouts. And Notre Dame uses one here.
The dish in front, Maltz. Ouch. Ross Bergmaster, freshman from Auburn, New York, eats one for the team.
.206 to go. A trip to championship weekend on the line. I think the lesson, as you brought up yesterday, nobody wants to go home with a timeout. Notre Dame, Quint, you mentioned, they're tired. You can see it. So what's the play here?
Kavanaugh's been your guy all season long, but today the midfielders have had more impact. Whether it's Jacobois as a ball carrier, as a guy who can create an edge, create a leverage, or Dobson as kind of a distributor up top center. Myers an option. Leahy had success earlier. So Coach Corrigan, who serves as their offensive coordinator, in the middle of their huddle.
For Maryland defensively, what's your biggest concern?
Well, you got to support your shorties here. You got to support your midfielders, okay? Guys like Alex Smith, Kaufman, and Puglisi. In this case, it's Puglisi and Smith. They've logged a lot of miles. So to ask them to get out on the perimeter and run hip to hip, run stride for stride with a midfielder is a big ask. You're going to ask them to redirect guys to the right areas, and then you got to move. You got to move as 6 guys. You got to get a second slide, a third slide, sticks up, and be disruptive if Notre Dame does get a shot. McNaney's accounted for himself really well in this fourth quarter.
This was the game of the quarterfinal round. It's lived up to the hype. Jacobois has 4 goals today. At a step on Rahal. Saved McNaney. Less than 2 minutes to go. Fairman up ahead to Long. You have until that shot clock hits 60 to get it across the midfield line. Looks like John Tillman may call a timeout. He's got 2.
If he likes the matchups, maybe he won't.
Maltz.
This way now, if something goes awry, he can bail his team out by using him.
DeMeo spins it back. Long against Boyer. A minute to go. Now Bernhardt. Stick checked away by Cohen. He took it away from Bernhardt. If Notre Dame wins, that play will live forever. Timeout, Kevin Corrigan. Notre Dame can hold for 1 shot.
Arden Cohen, the senior, New York City, played at Darien. Good hockey player in high school. It's just a simple wrap check. Left-handed Cohen, 36, dealing with the pick. Just a well-timed wrap.
Every Notre Dame fan held their breath when Bernhardt had the ball in that spot. Cohen makes the play. Notre Dame's got it back. Had a chance to take the lead in the final minute. Bernhardt's been unstoppable today. They have not gone to him as much. Notre Dame's done a good job denying him the ball in the second half, especially after he got that first goal of the third quarter.
If you go back to that last Notre Dame offensive possession, Jacobois got a decent look. It wasn't a great look. It wasn't a bad look. He was top center in front of the goal. His shot location, he hit McNaney, who's a lefty, right in the stick. So a similar look, similar pattern, I kind of like. Just better shot selection. Shoot the pipes, shoot the low pipes. If it goes wide, you should have backup. I think you'd rather be patient here if you're Notre Dame. You've won the majority of faceoffs. The overtime format doesn't scare you in that regard.
Maryland undefeated, 13-0. 12 of those wins against the Big Ten. Notre Dame went 3-3 in an ACC which has produced 3 semifinalists already. And now a timeout by John Tillman. Less than 41 seconds to go. Notre Dame ball out of this timeout. Anish Shroff, Quint Kesnick with you. Second game that's going to be decided more than likely by 1 goal here in South Bend. Duke beat Loyola earlier in overtime, and Q, I didn't think we could top 2019. We had so much offense, so many goals, so many exciting games, but boy, this quarterfinal round has been better than billed.
Those 2019 games were frenetic pace, up and down lacrosse, high scoring. This season, it's all about tension and drama. Yesterday's Carolina-Rutgers game, just you had to breathe after the game. So tense, so much stress watching every possession. Same today.
13-13, Maryland led 5-1. The Irish came back to take the lead. 7-7 game at the half, and in this fourth quarter, Notre Dame took a 3-goal lead. Maryland responded with 3 goals in 46 seconds. The Terps took the lead at 13-12 before Jacoboy's fourth tied it up. Liam Entenmann, 16 saves today. A career high 17 last week. McNaney's got 10 saves. Jacoboy's had the game winner against Drexel. He's got the ball, shadowed by Ray Hill.
55 wants his left. Left-handed player with a quick little burst. He's got good feet. He can accelerate.
And a good shot on the run. Pat Cavanaugh now, the Tewaaraton finalist. Hesitates. Cavanaugh against Grill. Spins back to his left. Didn't get anything on the shot. Geppert picks it up. We've got overtime again.
Tough defense by the Terps. He's doing a great job on the perimeter. Cavanaugh wants to take the game winner, but everywhere he turns, there's a white jersey closing out. Grill stays with him on the rollback, 54 in white, and Maryland clogs up the middle. 1 goal separates these two teams, and a trip to Hartford for the championship weekend. Terp Nation on their feet as we ready for sudden victory. Next goal wins. They put up 4 minutes on the clock, give each of these coaches a timeout, and we start from scratch. Kyle Gallagher for Notre Dame. Luke Weirman for Maryland. Weirman back to himself with an easy face-off win. Geppert now sniffs things out. Bubba Fairman waiting for substitutions as we wait.
DeMayo for the win! Maryland headed to championship weekend. DeMayo, the overtime winner. Two absolutely thrilling quarterfinal games here in South Bend, another on Long Island, and our semifinal field is set. Maryland crashes the ACC party. The Terps remain unbeaten. And a bitter pill to swallow for Notre Dame at home in the quarterfinals. They fall in overtime.
Give and go on the wing. We saw Notre Dame score earlier. DeMayo, Wisnauskas back to DeMayo. Little head and shoulder fake. He looks Entenmann down low. On a championship weekend once again under John Tillman. This was quite a mountain to climb for this Terp program. Higher seeded. They had to suck it up and come out here to Indiana. This was one of the toughest asks that I can remember in tournament history. They took the high road. They made no complaints. They came out here and they got it done.
If Maryland's season ends on Memorial Day in a dogpile, Clint, might as well give them the ACC championship trophy as well. They'll have to go through Duke in the semifinals and either Virginia or North Carolina on championship Monday. Today, though, on the road in what was a road game, despite being, as you said, the higher seed, despite being down 3 goals in the fourth quarter, they found a way. DeMayo, who had facilitated all afternoon with 3 assists, scores the game winner. And Jared Bernhardt, Quint, sensational again, 11 goals now in 2 games in this NCAA tournament. He is our Capital One Cup player of the game.
Terps dominated the first quarter and down 12-9. They finished with a flourish. Bernhardt is one for the ages. Just so glad we get to see this young man play another lacrosse game.
How about a championship weekend for the ages? 4 superpowers in the sport of lacrosse. More talent in the game this year than ever before. We'll see the 4 best. We'll see the top 4 seeds. Hartford's going to be a whole lot of fun. Maryland, Duke, Carolina, Virginia next week.